webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is DC Vijay. I'm a North-South National Team member and a coordinator for webinars. Glad to see you all here today. We have an youngster here who is our regular coach for our coaching sessions, and he is also the one who is putting together a new course for you. Although we are all generally excel in STEM subjects, we really lag in our knowledge about financial matters. So today I'm really excited to have an youngsters here to talk about that and teach his fellow youngsters, as well as putting together a series of classes for in that subject. Please note that we are also simulcasting this session on our YouTube channel. You're welcome to join there too. I welcome all for this session, and I'm really glad that we can make it happen today. Before we proceed further, let me get the usual housekeeping comments out of the way. This webinar is being recorded as we speak. We will send you a link of the recording in a day or two, probably tomorrow. Those who are watching a YouTube channel, or if you have the can watch the recorded session with the same link after the session is completed. We also have a lot of our past webinars recorded and posted in our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to those channel, and then you can watch all those webinars at your own leisure. If you have any questions today to ask the speaker, please type them out using the questions chat tab you have. Listeners on YouTube can also use the chat functionality to post their questions. We will collect them and ask the speaker on your behalf after the presentation is completed. Please be patient. Do not keep repeating the questions. It only makes it harder for us to wade through the list. Please also note that we will try to answer all your questions. However, since the time limit is about an hour and a half, if we did not able to cover it, we will have the question to the presenter and then post the answers to you later. If your question you feel is not being asked or answered, please let us know at webinars@northsouth.org. We have a few poll questions to go through today, just to gauge the knowledge of the audience in these subjects. So please answer them as quickly as possible, probably within about 30 seconds, because we can have only one poll open at a time, so we have to close it. And also, before you leave, please take a moment to fill in the feedback questions. It's important to us as well as to the presenter, and then we will use your feedback to improve our sessions in the future. We really appreciate your help, and then thank you. And then finally, I like to thank every one of you for making these webinar sessions very successful. And my request is, if you have any topic in mind, or if you know anybody who can present a webinar for us, please let us know at webinars@northsouth.org, and we'll start pursuing that for the future. Thank you for listening, and let's go to the established scheduled webinar program today. It is about North-South Wealth Wizards and Finance for All. We have a very enthusiastic youngster, as I told you. He's here to talk to her. So before I introduce a speaker, let's get a sense of the audience here, and please respond to the questions as quickly as possible so that we know the presenter can adjust his presentation according to that one. The first one I just started, it's about to get a better idea of our audience, what age group you're in, either middle school or younger, or high school, or in college, or parent or volunteer, or any other adult. So are you able to see the polls? Thank you. I'm going to close the poll in about a couple of seconds. And then I'll go through a series of yes or no questions. Please do it as quickly as possible so that we can keep going. First question is, have you ever created a personal budget before? Yes or no? Well, I don't see. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to close the poll in a couple of seconds. The next one I'm going to ask you is, do you know what causes inflation and how it affects the purchasing power of money? Okay, I'm just close the poll. The next question is, do you know the difference between a stock and a bond? I'm going to close the poll again. And then the next one is, can you explain why diversification reduces investment risk? I'm closing the poll in a second. And then the last one I'm going to post now is, have you ever thought about saving for retirement at your current age? I really apologize to our audience in YouTube. We do not have the technology to get you to take part in the poll. We are still figuring out what to do, but these poll questions is answered by the attendees in the GoToWebinar sessions. So let me close this poll also, and then I'll go over the results with you all. Okay, so Krish, for the questions about the audience level, we have 30% middle school or younger and 40% high schoolers. So we got a good crowd as you wanted, and rest of them are of course parents and the volunteers. Then the series of other questions, let me go over. Have you ever created a personal budget before? 76% have said no. No wonder, because most of them are still students. And then do you know what causes inflation? We have about 50-50. And then a difference between bond and a stock, 60% says no. So 40% are saying yes. And can you explain why diversification reduces? Again, it's about half, 44 and 56. And then finally, have you ever thought of saving? Yes, 50% of them say yes, and 47. So you got a even split on many of those questions, Krish. So
Yeah.
and
Some of these questions are going to be, or everything on these questions is going to be covered throughout the course.
Yes. Okay. So without further ado, let me bring in our presenter here. He's our speaker today is Krish Gowder. He's is coming from Dallas now. He's an accomplished 11th grade student from the School of Science and Engineering in Dallas. He has a strong focus on finance and leadership. Krish leads his school in UIL accounting team and serve as a career development leader for the DECA chapter, specializing in developing skills and opportunities in finance and business. He has also attended UCLA's Introduction to Investments summer program and Berkeley Business Academy for Youth, BBAY, and its Haas School of Business. Additionally, he is qualified for the AIME, American University Math exam, and has earned a rank as an Eagle Scout. So let me bring in Krish, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Desi. So everyone, welcome to North-South Wealth Wizards, Finance for All Students. My name is Krish Gadar. So in today's agenda, we're going to be starting out with an introduction, which is already covered, followed by the purpose of this course and why it's important, along with course specifics, talking about the logistics for this course, including payments and starting dates, as well as a course syllabus, which is going to be a week-by-week outline of topics that are going to be covered in this course, and questions at the end. Yeah, so this was already covered a little bit about me. And I want to start off with a very interesting quote by Robert Kiyosaki, the author of a famous financial literacy book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Money without financial intelligence is money soon gone. It's not about how much you make, but how much you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Financial literacy empowers people to create lasting wealth. Throughout this course, I want to help students build healthy financial habits early and prepare students for financial responsibilities that are inevitable through every stage of their life. And I also aim to empower students to make informed money decisions and have confidence in the financial decisions that they make. I'd also like to give a special thank you to North-South for the opportunity to share my learnings with others, and a special thanks to Mr. Desi and Mr. Narayana for their continued guidance and support in turning this course into a reality. So the course is going to last 12 weeks with 1 hour of lectures every week. It's recommended for grades 8th and up, as well as including adults. And the focus is including but not limited to topics such as budgeting, saving, investing, credit, and retirement planning. Every class is going to have discussions in which peers are going to collaborate, as well as activities in which students can engage hands-on. We're going to have homework, which is going to be composed of 3 free response questions every class. And these are going to be graded, and constructive criticism is going to be returned to the students. And at the end of the course, there is going to be a survey to ensure that as future iterations of this course progress, that we are improving. Some unique features of this course: we have hands-on activities to apply financial concepts. We're going to be looking at real-world applications, so case studies and simulations tied to real-life situations, such as the 2008 financial crisis and instances of hyperinflation, which we're going to study. We have peer collaboration, so students are going to get in groups, which will encourage teamwork, and they're also going to be debating against each other. We also have flexible homework, these 3 free response questions that are going to help develop critical thinking in students. Now, I want to talk about why financial literacy matters. Here are some statistics which I found off the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. 56% of Americans have less than $5,000 in savings. So this lack of savings leaves many unprepared for financial emergencies and can lead to an increased reliance on credit. For example, if you only have, let's say, $2,000 in a savings account and you get into a car accident or a tornado hits your house and you're unable to pay for the damages, you can end up taking a loan with probably a high interest rate, and over time that can really deteriorate your quality of life. Next, 34% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This financial strain makes it challenging to build savings or invest in future opportunities. So almost over 1/3 of Americans are reliant on their next paycheck to keep up their quality of life. So if that next paycheck doesn't come in, almost 1/3 of Americans are going to be struggling with basic needs such as putting food on the table or paying rent. Early financial education, however, helps build long-term security. By teaching financial literacy at a young age, we equip individuals with the tools needed to make informed financial decisions throughout their lives and avoid some of the situations above. So the course is going to cost $100 and it's going to start on November 17th. Our registration for this course is already open on NSF, and it's going to go 12 weeks to February 16th, and it's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sundays, excluding 2 for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Now, as I go over the details of topics covered each week, you may ask why an 8th grader or high school student would be interested in things like budgeting, inflation, or financial statements. Well, growing up, we don't get exposed to financial literacy nearly as much as we should because of some of the reasons Mr. Dacey mentioned, along with the fact that many of us are heavily focused on academic achievement, especially in math and science, without emphasis on practical life skills, including personal finance. Discussing money with children is less common as finances are generally seen as an adult responsibility. In addition, many students have delayed exposure to financial responsibility. We often rely on our parents fully for financial responsibility until adulthood, and many of us even throughout our college years. This makes it crucial to ensure students learn about finances at an early age to make sure that they can make informed decisions about their own finances. So in the first week, I plan to do an overview of financial literacy and its importance. We're going to be going over real-life examples of poor financial planning, an introduction to needs versus wants in budgeting, and how inflation affects purchasing power over time. In week 2, we're going to cover the difference between debit and credit cards, what each of them are, along with differences in usage, as well as advantages and disadvantages of each card. We're going to talk about the importance of building credit and avoiding debt, as well as how credit scores work and the importance of having a good FICO score. In week 3, we're going to cover the fundamental of investments, starting with an overview of investment vehicles such as stocks, bonds, ETFs, CDOs, options, real estate, things like that. We're going to do a basic overview of risk to reward trade-offs in different investments, as well as an introduction to dividends, interest income, and capital appreciation. The activity for this week is a simulated portfolio creation and tracking it over time on TradingView, making use of the free replay mode feature. In week 4, we're going to talk about risk in the financial world, specifically what is risk, as well as the difference between systemic and idiosyncratic risk. We're also going to cover how to mitigate risk through diversification and introduce volatility and market cycles. Our case study for this week is going to be comparing portfolios with and without diversification through certain economic events such as the COVID-19 pandemic and wars. In week 5, we're going to be talking about the very famous historic example of the 2008 financial crisis. We're going to start with causes of the 2008 financial crisis, as well as going into the roles that mortgage-backed securities and CDOs had in the fall of the housing market in 2008. We're also going to go into lessons learned from the crisis, as well as the people who made money and the people who lost money. For example, in this crisis, the Lehman Brothers, which was an investment firm, made over $700 billion. We're also going to talk about the introduction of financial regulations post 2008. So measures taken to prevent something like this from happening again, including the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. In week 6, we're going to be talking all about taxes. So an overview of the different types of taxes, such as income tax, capital gains tax, property tax, and estate tax. We're also going to talk about the difference between progressive and flat taxes, as well as including understanding deductions and tax credits. So these are kind of loopholes which allow you to pay less taxes, which reduce your taxable income. And our activity is going to be allowing students to calculate taxes based on fictional income scenarios and incorporating deductions and tax credits. In week 6, this is going into a little bit of economics, but talking about supply and demand in fictional and real markets. So how supply and demand impact prices in the economy, studying how market equilibrium, which is the intersection of supply and demand, and how prices adjust. We're going to be talking about introductions to price control, such as minimum wage and rent control, and talk about some real life examples of how supply and demand prices shift. So oil prices, the housing market in 2008, along with the Russia-Ukraine war and how the supply of wheat produced in Russia decreased and how that affected the supply and demand curves. In week 8, we're going to be talking about how money and the value of money changes over time, starting with what is time value of money, followed by the difference between simple and compound interest. And we're going to be calculating future value with compound interest and using that in examples such as saving for college or retirement. And the activity is going to be students working on future saving calculations for a hypothetical savings plan. In week 9, we're going to be analyzing the 3 main financial statements and giving an overview of each, which are the balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statement, as well as the importance of some very crucial financial ratios, such as debt to equity, price to earnings, profit margin, EPS, and ESG. And we're going to be analyzing, a fictional company, but we can also look at real publicly traded companies such as Amazon and Apple, because their financial statements are openly available for the quarter and for the year. And we're going to look into these financial statements to analyze any areas to invest in terms of profitability and liquidity. In week 10, we're going to be talking about retirement planning. And it's never too early to plan for retirement. Many kids can have their own 401k at the age of 18 when they start working. Many people I know work at places like Chipotle or the Dallas Zoo. They're already filing W-2s, and in maybe 2 years down the line, they're going to have a 401k set up for their retirement planning. So in this week, we're going to be talking about the types of retirement accounts, specifically 401k and Roth IRA, as well as pension plans, which are for other jobs such as teachers. We're going to talk about the importance of starting early, kind of reincorporating some of the takeaways that we had from compound interest. We're going to talk about employer matches and vesting periods in the 401k. And the activity is students designing a retirement savings account to compare both Roth and traditional IRA, Roth IRA and traditional 401ks in terms of when taxes are going to be deducted and employee matches. In week 11, we're going to be looking at employment and economic indicators. So the different types of unemployment and how they're measured. These include everything from U3 to U6 unemployment and how those figures are calculated, as well as labor force participation rate and its impact on the economy. We're also going to be studying the Phillips curve, which is the relationship between unemployment and inflation. We're also going to be studying the difference between U3 and U6 unemployment during COVID-19. And as you know, during that time, there were many restrictions on social distancing and people weren't going out as much. So employment drastically changed during this time. We're also going to be looking at how statistics the difference between U3 and U6 unemployment can be portrayed to create a false image of unemployment in our country. And the activity is to explore real-world unemployment trends in other countries as well, besides the US, also in times of like economic distress. Finally, in week 12, we're going to end out with a lot of historic examples. So we're going to start with the Brexit, as well as Greece's transition from the drachma to the euro and how it entered the eurozone and what that meant in terms of the debt that it had collected. We're going to be talking about discussions on government debt with deficit spending, bringing up examples like the United States and Japan. We're going to be doing case studies on inflation, deflation, stagflation, hyperinflation, bringing up examples like Venezuela, Zimbabwe, and Russia. And for some of these countries, money had gotten so far inflated that $1 or like one of their currency had become like 10 million just in the matter of a couple decades. We're also going to debate how economic policies shape a country's future. Now, most of these topics may seem new or overwhelming, but I want this course to spark an interest in personal finances, and I want every student to keep an open mind. Let's work together to make this a fun and informational experience for everyone. At the end of the course, I'm going to have a summary of the key takeaways, as well as some of my favorite books that I've read, as well as courses that I've taken. I know Khan Academy has a lot of good ones to emphasize the importance of continued financial learning. This course should just be like a stepping stone in your journey of financial literacy. There's also going to be an end of course survey for feedback. Now we're going to open up the floor to any questions that you may have regarding anything that either me or Mr. Dacey have gone through.
Thank you, Krish. Please post your questions in your tab and questions or chat tab. We will ask. And in the meantime, we are also joined by Narayana Janga, who is an organizer for all the coaching sessions. Narayana ji, would you like to say something about your this class or coaching classes?
Yeah, this class actually we want to show. Can you hear me, Desi? I was trying to speak.
Yeah, I can. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't see you, but we hear you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm kind of in a place where I can't turn on my camera, but
okay, that's okay. Yeah.
There are a few questions on the panel, but one thing I want to show parents is how to go register for the class in our website. So,
Okay.
Krish, I'm not sure if you want to take the questions first or if you want me to go through showing the flow for registering for the class. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes.
No, we'll finish the questions and then probably we'll do that in the end.
Okay. So
there
are a few questions on the panel.
Yeah. One of the question is, if I miss a class due to other commitments, will I get a recorded video of the session? Krish,
you're on mute, but
oh, okay.
Yeah, as an ASAP policy. Yeah, go ahead. Usually we do not record our classes because we ask kids to turn on their videos, but the actual classroom we may not record, but if Krish wants to do something on the side by himself without students in the room and provide that as a supplement after the class, that's up to Krish, but usually we do not record. And I'm not sure, Krish, if you are open to setting up office hours for kids to catch up if they miss the class. Those are all possible.
I'll have office hours in which students can reach me, and also I'll have a TA, which you can also talk to.
But they can access your presentation during that class, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can post the slides.
Yeah, that's what, at least, okay. The next one is, I am a sophomore getting W-2 for part-time. How can I start self 401k or retirement? Account.
Yeah, so for 401k, many companies have a policy where you have to be 18 or older to start a 401k. But I mean, instead, you don't really need a 401k to get started with saving for retirement. You can create an account on Fidelity, a custodial account, and you can put money into that and then have it invested in a diversified portfolio. And when you get to the age of 18, in which you can create a 401k with your company, you can just transfer the funds.
Okay. Okay, what dates the webinar be? So you already said that it's on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern, right? Starting from November 17th. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what it is, except for 2 Sundays during Thanksgiving and Christmas. All the other Sundays there will be classes. Okay, so somebody asked what is the fee for the course, which is, you said it's $100 for all the 12 sessions.
Right.
Okay, so that's the main. Most of them are asking about recording.
Yeah, I think what we
Anybody's
said before, they said there will not be a live recording of the class.
right.
There's a question how long the classes will be. It's 1 hour.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I don't see in YouTube also any questions.
Yeah, let me go through the. I think for the parents that are used to North South, it's the same flow. You just go to. Let me start sharing my screen. How do I
Let me make you
the present?
the presenter. Let
Okay.
me see. Yeah, you're the presenter now.
I'm not sure which screen am I
Okay,
sharing.
your front screen is coming.
With the GoToWebinar videos or?
No, yeah, just a flower.
Oh, I passed it, I think. Okay. I see. Okay, you see the North South website now?
Yes, now we see.
Yeah, okay. So to register for our classes, any of our classes, this is the same flow. You just go to the Learning Journey tab. And they're going to clean it up. All this stuff will be taken away. These are all the classes we offered in fall that the registers are closed. And all the way at the end here, there is this product, Wealth Wizards Finance for All. And then you can just click on register now. And then you can see the details of the class here. If you guys have any questions, what will be taught in the class. A summary is here. And then you click on register now. And that takes you to the parent login screen. And then you just log in with your North South parent ID. And if you have a child eligible, which is 8th grade to 12th grade, the system should automatically show you this class to register. And here you can see the details when the class is starting, when the class is ending, including those 2 holidays. It's total 12 weeks. But the time period showing is 14 weeks because we have a Thanksgiving break and a Christmas break for the classes. And the time is 3 p.m. Eastern. Please note the time zone. It's 3 p.m. Eastern for everybody. It's on Sundays, 1 hour. And then just click on the register button. And all this student information has to be correct. Otherwise, you will not see next continue button. So make sure you edit your child information. If you are not seeing the next continue enabled, and make sure that you're also putting the right grade. Sometimes in your profile, if you have, for example, if I go here, I guess I have to go out of the screen. And sometimes parents are having their kids marked as one grade lower, because for contest you might have changed your child level. But if your child is in 8th grade, but the system thinks they're in 7th grade, the class will not show up. So you have to update your grade here to see the classes. But anyway, once you have this, all this, then select next, continue. And that should take you to the register screen. Let me try it one more time. I think because I'm sharing, I think it's probably acting up. That should all work. Let's try it again. Register. Yeah, next, continue. Then you will see this, and then you just add it to the cart and then go through the payment. We are allowing until November 10th is the last day to register, and November 12th is with the deadline, with the late deadline, with the $10 late fee. That's there, and everybody will get invited to a classroom. Everything will be done through Google Classrooms. And again, if you have been attending NARSouth classes, and we are not going to publish materials in the NARSouth website, NARSouth portal itself to get it. We created this class last night. So you'll be added to this classroom, Wealth Wizards grade 8 to 12, 3 to 4 p.m. I'll make sure that I will put EST there so there is no confusion. And all the materials will be shared here, and there will be a meeting link within the classroom. We will generate this link and everything. So all the students will click on that and then join the class. That's pretty much it. You can interact with Krish by posting here, and all the classwork will be posted here. And if assignments are given, kids can see their grades here. They can submit their homework. We can set up Google Forms and all that for questions and all that. So that's how it works. And usually we add the student email ID. When you register for it, the system will ask you for a student email ID. That's the one we are going to add as a student to the class. So please make sure that sometimes the email ID is getting fat fingered and our system does not do a validation. So make sure that whatever email ID you're putting is correct, and it can actually receive Google notifications also. If you have I think young children can be invited as students, but sometimes your organizations block Google invites. In those cases, we will try to at least contact you on the 2 other email IDs that you have provided us in the system, the primary parent, and make sure that we get the right email ID so we can add them here. Ideally, we want only students in the classroom, but if for some reason parents want to join and monitor, then we can allow one of the parents to also join. Just let us know. But by default, it's all the students will get added after registration. I think those are the main points. So please make yourself familiar with joining Google Classroom, and it should be pretty straightforward. We will also publish a parent guide in the classroom, so for how to use the Google Classrooms. So you can read that post also. There is a document that we built to help people that are new to Google Classrooms.
Quick question, Naranaji. What is the strength of the class going to be? Or
30, right, Krish?
30. So once you reach 30, you will close down the registration, right?
That is correct. After 30, okay. Because Krish is the only instructor we have, and it's a pilot class. We don't want to go like.
And there is only one class, no alternate timings, no alternate classes. Okay.
No, this is a pilot class, so we want to limit it. And
perfect.
Yeah.
So please hurry, because the thing will close once they reach the capacity of the 30 for the classes, and then you have probably 2 weeks to do it. But like Narayana and Krish said, the registration is already open, so you can go right now and then do the registrations.
Yeah.
So you're showing us something, Narayana?
No, that's it. That's the classroom. Okay. I'm trying to give the control back to you. They say, I don't know if I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just say stop presenting. That's it. Okay, so you okay. Yeah, now you got it. Now let me see. Any other questions you have? They're
If I
asking
click
about
on,
the YouTube channel name, and I think the YouTube channel, what I'm talking about is North-South Foundation. If you search for North-South Foundation, there will be a private channel. You can subscribe to it and register, and then you will start getting updates, and then you can see all our videos of previous webinars and about the contests and about all the infos in that channel. So it's a very a lot of information in there. Please subscribe and then visit the channel for all your videos and other requirements.
there are a few more questions. They say I'm updating the description right now. I think
Okay.
initially we were planning it for 5 to 10, but then we realized this may be too much for a fifth grader
Okay.
and
Okay.
sixth grader. So I'll update the description. It is for 8 to 12 grade students.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah. And can you share the deck? Yeah, we will share the deck by in our follow-up email tomorrow, and then you can look through that, all those things. And then let me see in YouTube channel, you have any questions? Please consider recording the session is one of the comments in the YouTube channel.
yeah, so I mean, the classes we cannot record because we have students in the classes. We don't want to show their names
Right.
and we will
Right.
have their videos on. But as we were mentioning earlier, again, Krish can probably record something by himself, or we can run office hours to help people catch up.
Okay. Are these classes through Zoom sessions, right?
Through Google Meet. In the
Google
classroom,
Meet.
that's what I was showing earlier.
Okay.
Let
Okay.
me
Yeah.
show it
Yeah.
again.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, through the Google Meet. So
It will be in their
but
classroom.
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't need to. All they need to know is their classroom, and then yeah. Oh, okay. I stopped
exactly.
sharing, but if you want me to share,
Yeah, that's
okay.
yeah, you can put yourself as a presenter and then you can do it, but you get an idea.
Yeah.
And just for some
Yeah.
more
Right here.
clarity. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This will be the classroom. Once they join, we will generate this meeting link and it will say join.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
let me do that right now. Visible to students, save. So all they have to do is click on this join to join the
Join.
class.
Okay.
And this is where all the material, student handouts, and any recordings that Chris does to help parents catch up. All that information will be posted here or as classwork here.
Okay. And they can join even when the class is in progress, right?
Yeah, this meet is open. I think, yeah,
Mhm.
we have to, we will allow people to join.
Great. Since we have not much to go, Krish, I'm going to ask you, so some of the poll questions we had 50-50 answers. Some people didn't know what. So is there a way you can just elaborate those questions and say an answer to make them more interested in the topics?
Yeah. So, one of them was, do you know what causes inflation and how it affects the purchasing power of money? And there was 50-50 on there. So inflation is a process in which the cost of goods rises over time. What that does for the purchasing power of money is it reduces it. So you can think of examples back in, like the 1900s, like you could buy things for like just cents, but now that same item, like a loaf of bread may have costed like 5 cents in the 1900s, but now you're paying multiple dollars for that. So that's how inflation has affected like how much an individual currency is worth. And then the difference between stocks and bonds. So most of you said no for this one. So when you invest in a stock, you're basically getting ownership in a company. For example, like if I were to buy a share of Tesla, I have become an owner of the company of Tesla, though there are probably like millions of stocks available. but I still am an owner of the company. Bonds are, on the other hand, are a little different. So with stocks, you make money with the stock if the company's price overall increases, and you would lose money if the company's price decreased. But with bonds, it's a little bit different. And there's also different types of bonds. So there's government bonds, and then there's bonds with public companies. So companies like, Apple, Tesla, and then also some more like companies that you're unfamiliar with, they're also going to have bonds. So with bonds, you're going to give the company some money, or the government, the US government, some money, and then it'll pay you back a little bit. So for example, if the bond, it would take in like $2,000, and then at the end of every year, it's going to give you 5% of what you put in. So the first year, it would give you 5% of 2,000. And then the same thing with the second year, third year, fourth year. And on the fifth year, for example, it's going to give you your 5% as well as your original principal that you put in. So it's kind of like a balloon payment. It starts small, and then at the end, you get all the money back. And with the US government, because the government is never going to fail to pay you money, because, worst case scenario, if they're just going to print more money and give it back to you, there's very low risk with the US government bond. So the reward is also going to be very low. And then with publicly traded companies, there are ratings for bonds. They go from AAA, which is the best, and it goes all the way down to like C rated bonds, and those are called junk bonds. So like if I invested in an Apple bond, because Apple is such a big corporation, the chance that they default or fail to pay my bond or fail to pay me back is very low. So Apple is going to have, it's going to be higher risk than the US government because they could fail to pay, but the reward is also going to be slightly higher. Then when you look at these really small companies that are, starting up, they have very high risk of defaulting because you don't know if that company is going to succeed in the future. And as a result of that high risk, they're also going to have high payouts. But if that company defaults, if the company collapses on itself, your bond is gone. You're not getting that money back, right? So they're both financial investments, and I'm going to go into more detail during the course. So the next question is, can you explain why diversification reduces investment risk? And the reason for this is there are two main types of risk, systemic and idiosyncratic. So systemic risk is risk that applies to, the entire economy. Like if there's a recession, every single stock is going to decrease in value, right? But idiosyncratic risk is only, it's like intrinsic. It's only there for a specific company. Like if the CEO of Apple dies tomorrow, the stock price is going to tank. But that is intrinsic risk. It's only there for Apple. So when you diversify, and a diversified investment, for example, would be the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest stocks by market cap put into one mutual fund. And when you buy into the S&P 500, that idiosyncratic risk is minimized completely, because in the S&P 500, if the CEO of Apple dies, for example, that is going to decrease in stock price, but that makes up only a portion of the entire asset allocation. So that idiosyncratic risk for individual companies is negligible. So in a good diversified investment, the only risk that you have is systemic risk, for example, like a recession happening. Whereas if you invested in individual securities, your risk is composed of both systemic and idiosyncratic risk. And for that reason, your risk is greater in individual securities when compared to a diversified investment. Yeah, so the next question was talking about retirement, and definitely some of you said no, you haven't thought about retirement, but like we're going to go through in the course, it's very important to start investing early due to the like situation of compound interest. Albert Einstein said compound interest was the eighth wonder of the world because of how fast it makes your money grow. And by starting early, you ensure that you're taking full advantage of compound interest. There's also things like employee matches, where for, like every 1,000 you put in, your employee will also match $1,000. And by hitting at least this minimum amount, you're ensuring that you're making the most of the retirement plan that you have set up. Yeah, so those are all the questions. And if there's anything else that you're curious about, any information from the slides, please go ahead and ask.
And before we go, I have a couple of generic polls I'm going to want to ask the audience. One is, are you or your children registered for any of the coaching classes with the North-South Foundation? Any other coaching? We just want to get a hang of the audience's involvement with the coaching programs. Please go ahead and just poll. Thank you. I'm going to close this now. And then one last poll. We just wanted to find out. Okay, where am I? Based on what you heard now, are you planning to join the course? It's nothing, not a commitment or anything, but I just wanted to get a feel for the mood of the audience. Okay, so I'll close that poll also, and then I'll share the results with you guys. Let me see, where am I? Have you registered for any of the coaching classes? 50% of them say they are right now, 25 in the past, and 28% they are saying they have not participated in any of the coaching. And then the last one, so 16% of them saying definitely they will register, and 74% are considering. So that's a good thing. And maybe 10% of them say perhaps not. So so that's where we stand with the audience and today. And let me see whether YouTube channel has any questions they have. I don't see anybody posting any questions in the YouTube channel. So if there is nothing else, then we would like to conclude this session. Let me see. Let me close the poll. Okay. Thank you, Krish, for your time and having the patience in answering all our questions and then presenting this to us. And it's a very, very interesting concept for a course for the youngsters, which is so much needed to at least educate them and to keep their eyes open and ears open, and then look around in the world. Thank you for everyone for attending this session. Thank you, Narayana ji, for spending some time here to explain things. Before you go, please fill in the feedback forms, and then we are working on several other topics also in the future. We'll watch for our announcements, and please register and attend them. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. Thank you, Krish. And then you just send me the details, your presentation copy, so I can share with the audience. And then I'm going to
Thanks, Desi, for putting this together.
thank you, Naren.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Krish.
and if
Thank
you have any additional ones to be presented, please let me know. Through the end of the year, we can arrange for some more sessions like this.
Thank you, Krish.
Sure.
Thank you
everyone.
everyone for your time.
Thank you.